As the state of social, political, and economical issues continue to change, so does the culture of the Second Amendment. And what was once years ago labeled as cringy and people were labeled as LARPers is now considered part of the normal, with people owning purpose-driven kit, owning sustainment gear, getting into communications, prepping, so on and so forth. So today, we're going to talk about building out a plate carrier and some considerations that you should make. It is no secret that times have changed. Social and political violence is on the rise, crime is on the rise, government overreach, as always, is on the rise, and there are a lot of things to be concerned about, and a lot of things that have people stirred up, and rightfully so. And normally, when we see times like this, it normally pushes people towards the Second Amendment and Second Amendment culture. And one big thing that we have seen since 2020 from both COVID and the BLM riots is people owning kit. So today we're going to talk about building out a plate carrier. But before we do, guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Anything you do will help us out. As a disclaimer, guys, all of the gear that you're going to see today was purchased by myself or the company. It was not provided to us in any extent. So everything you see, everything you hear will be unbiased and is coming from me, myself, and I. So one of the first things we have to consider when we're building out a plate carrier is why are we building out a plate carrier and what are we trying to accomplish? And that may seem like a nuanced question to somebody who's been around for a while, but those that are newer generally don't truly understand the why behind a plate carrier. Normally they may fall for some sort of scam-like ad or fall into what may look cool because their favorite social media operator said something about it, but they don't truly understand why they chose that plate carrier. And not all plate carriers are built the same. Some plate carriers are built to be very lightweight and slick. Some are built to carry, heavier loads, sustainment loads, lots of magazines, canteens, so on and so forth. So you must first realize, why am I building out this plate carrier and what am I looking to accomplish? So, the plate carrier of choice for me today, we have the box of goodies, is HRT Tactical's RAC Plate Carrier. Now, I said I was going to be transparent with you guys. We do now sell all of HRT Tactical's gear. You can head over to our website and everything you see in this video and more you can find on our website. However, I did not specifically pick this plate carrier just because we sell their gear now. I have worn a great deal of plate carriers in my day, both from the military side and now the civilian side. But I was looking over some products from HRT Tactical before we decided to officially, start selling their products and be a partner with them. And I thought this was a very quality product, and I was like, I'm going to just make a whole video about building out a plate carrier based around this exact model. And like I talked about before, with all plate carriers not being built the same, HRT Tactical has various plate carriers from more slick loads to heavy bearing load plate carriers. So give them a check. But HRT RAC Plate Carrier. As always, OD green. M81 comes in a close second to me, but I never really fully commit to the M81. So the HRT RAC Plate Carrier. Very similar to their lighter plate carrier build out. However, one thing I did like about this is that it does have a quick release on the shoulder if that was something that you wanted to use. One big thing that I personally like with a plate carrier is if it's going to come with panels or zippers or something of that sort, it also has to have the ability to be mollied to some extent. For example, the back of this plate carrier is both molly and it is also zipper. So if you're a person that likes to, change out loadouts on a normal basis, or you constantly like trying out different pieces of gear, that is a really good thing that you may want to look at is, does my plate carrier accept different types of, connection methods? Is it molly? Is it zipper? Is it Velcro? Panel? Whatever that might be. So that is definitely something you should consider. Another thing that you should consider is, what size plates am I going to need? Not everybody is going to be built the same. Some people may need 10 by 12s. Some people may need 11 by 14s, or what is the equivalent of, medium, large, large XL plates. And, what is the environment that you're going to be wearing your plate carrier in? If you're someone that's in law enforcement, you may need to throw your plate carrier on top of what is normally your daily wear soft body armor. If you're a civilian, you may not have to worry about that as much. So these are the things that you should consider: is where do I foresee myself wearing this plate carrier? For me personally, this entire plate carrier is kind of built out around a general loadout with some administrative supplies. We're going to get into more of that later, but basically this is going to be a general purpose kind of travel/truck kit. It's a little bit of a do-it-all. I am not a fan of strict slick plate carriers. That's just, like a rifle mag and like that's it. I like having stuff. Some people don't like carrying stuff. I like stuff. So, RAC Plate Carrier in OD green, of course. Like I talked about before, MOLLE or panels or placards. For myself, I also went with HRT Tactical's Maximus Placard. It has 2 general purpose pouches here on the front. It accepts 3 rifle magazines, and then it has 2 pouches on the side for pistol magazines. But with the way they're kind of built out, we might be able to slide some other stuff in there. We will see. But this is rather general purpose, I would say. Having things like fire starting gear, maps, stuff like that is always good to have, and that's why I like having general purpose pouches. We could argue that 3 rifle mags is not enough. I could argue that 7 rifle mags is not enough. And for those that run 7 rifle mags, I could argue, that you need even more, and so on and so forth. But for the sake of this plate carrier and its place of being, kind of a travel/vehicle kit, 3 rifle mags and some pistol mags that are compatible with my EDC will do just fine. For the cummerbund, I went a little fancy this time. I've never owned the quick release tubes that a lot of companies have started to use. So this is something new to me. Very much looking forward to it. But of course, I like MOLLE cummerbunds because I do like wearing things in my cummerbunds, whether it be extra tourniquets, smoke grenade pouches, whatever that might be. I like having the option of being MOLLE. I'm a big MOLLE guy. So, quick release cummerbunds with MOLLE paneling, of course. Back panel, we went with the HydroMax zip-on panel. Now, normally, I do not like having pouches on my back because I like having the ability to comfortably wear, a day pack in any given circumstance. However, I have just a slick hydration bladder on my other plate carrier, so I wanted to give something with some pouches a try. There will be more videos to come as far as packs with plate carriers, so on and so forth. But we have this, and once again, it is either zipper or you also have the MOLLE option. And what I do like about this back panel is, since the MOLLE is somewhat limited as far as how it's being weaved, they added in some Velcro for this to kind of have a nice stick to the back of the plate carrier. For medical, because medical is very important, we have ECT's new Swift Dangler. I'll get into the breakdown of this a little bit more, but this is a new product, guys. Right now, it is available on our website in OD green, but in the future, it'll be available in coyote, black, M81, so on and so forth. I'll get into this a little bit more in a little while, but I have learned to really like Dangler IFAKs, the abdominal IFAK, specifically because I like being able to have ready access to my medical equipment, which is what makes the buckle system of these IFAKs so much better. Velcro, tearaway, or something like that, is decent. There are some companies that make some decent tearaway belt IFAKs, but again, for me, abdominal IFAK is the way to go. It's on your front, it's easy to identify, so on and so forth. And now the buckles make this so much easier. So, IFAK, an absolute must when you're building out a plate carrier. And now down to the plates, the bones of what all of this is. I chose to go with Hesco L210s. I almost went up a little bit more, but for this video, I kind of wanted to keep price in mind when we were building out this plate carrier. And the L210s are very affordable. We got these from T-Rex Arms, and they are not a level 3 or a level 4 rating. They are a special threat rating. You can look up the various ratings, but essentially that means your more common rifle caliber, such as 5.56 and 7.62 by 39, this is going to be a multi-hit plate rating for those. It's not going to be as strong as your level 4 ceramics that's taken on 30-06 black tip, but nonetheless, a quality plate. Hesco makes quality plates, and that is the base that we chose to go with. And lastly, we got the H harness for our front placard from HRT Tactical. On my main kit, I have the Velocity plate carrier, and with that I have the Mayflower chest rig. And in the single pouch on my back where my hydration bladder is, I carry the harness so I can take my chest rig on and off my plate carrier and wear it independently as I choose. So when I built this out, I decided that even though that the front placard to this may not be a traditional chest rig and a sustainment load, I still wanted to have this with me just for the simplicity sake of it all. Untested, however, I would also imagine that, you know, something like this is going to be very good low pro. If I wanted to wear this over like a flannel or something like that, a good option to have. So that is the goods, guys. And there's a lot more goods on the table behind the camera that you guys can't see. All of the contents that's going to go into this, because we're going past just building the plate carrier. We're going to fill all the pouches and everything with different goodies to show you what are some of the things that I like to have on a normal basis. So I'm going to put all of this together, and then we're going to bring it back out on the table, and I'm going to break it down even further. All right, guys, we have the plate carrier built out. Now it took me about probably a little under 10 minutes once I got my plates in to size the plate carrier to me. So that's not too bad. However, I have sized a lot of plate carriers, you know, in my time, so others may take a little bit more time. But nonetheless, this plate carrier was extremely easy to size nonetheless. A few things about this plate carrier before I get into what is on the plate carrier. A few features I guess I should mention that I like specifically about this plate carrier. Up here at the top of the front of the plate carrier, on top of this plate here, a feature that I've not seen in plate carriers before is there is a pad right here just above where your plate normally sits. This kind of protects your chin and your neck if you were ever to, you know, kind of knock your head forward, fall, anything like that. You now have a nice little pad to protect you from that plate. In addition, both the inside, front, and back of this plate carrier has some padding on the inside as well. And it's the type of padding, I don't know the name of it, that kind of creates space between your chest and the plate carrier to help keep you cool, because obviously when you wear that plate carrier, your body heat is going to go up a lot faster, specifically on your torso. So lots of good little padding features and whatnot all around this plate carrier, which is something I really like. I set my plate carriers up in a very specific way, regardless of what gear I'm running on that plate carrier. Normally everything still has the same kind of system of where stuff goes, and you should have that system as well. That way, regardless of what piece of kit you own, you put on, you kind of have, you know, a system in place. So you know, okay, generally this piece of equipment is normally in this area. I normally fit this piece to fit in this manner, so on and so forth. It makes everything a little bit more consistent and a little bit nicer, regardless of what piece of kit you are going to wear. So, like we talked about before, guys, this front placard, 3 rifle mags up front, 2 pistol mags on the side. Make sure you stage your magazines in your mag pouches or your placard the way you would draw them if you were to be doing a combat reload. My pistol magazines are facing opposite sides, depending on which side of the placards it's on, because when I go to sweep to get that actual magazine, I want my index finger to be on the front of that pistol magazine. So obviously this one on the right side, I would be reaching over when I bring that in front of my face. I want my index finger on that side of the mag. This is just a preference of mine. Nonetheless, make sure your magazines are set up the way that you want. Starting off, We'll start with the general purpose pouches. I have a few things I like to keep in my general purpose pouches. Starting off right to left, I have a multi-tool. I have some chem lights. I have cami paint. Always need your cami paint. Never know when you're going to need to touch up on your cami paint, because sometimes you get hot and sweaty when you're at your mom's house and you're going from downstairs to upstairs to get to the fridge. The temperature changes, you'll sweat. Your cami paint will get ruined. So make sure you have cami paint on standby. Lighter with duct tape. A big thing of mine is for a lot of my lighters to have some sort of tape on them. And then another thing that has commonly come in handy, and I should carry more of them, is little lens cloths for wiping off optics, specifically like RMRs and red dots on pistols. Just something that I've kind of picked up on over time that is super nice to have. Coming over to the left pouch, Cliff Bar, because you got to have snacks. I like Cliff Bars the most. I have various markers and pens. I have a Write in the Rain notepad, and then I have a handheld flashlights. I have lights on my helmet, and I have lights on all my guns, but that does not necessarily mean that those will always be what is the right tool for the job. I like having just a normal handheld light on me. Coming over here to the right side, which is my dominant side, I have a fixed blade knife. This is the Gerber Strongman knife with the serrated portion of the blade. You got to have a fixed blade on your kit somewhere. Regardless of what your kit's for, you always need a good knife. So I always carry a good fixed blade on my gear. Finishing off on the right side here, right next to my knife, I have a Blackhawk smoke grenade pouch, or whatever the title of this pouch may be. Right now, I have a IWA International M14 smoke grenade, white. If you're feeling a little more spicy, you can rock a thermobaric or a flashbang. And if you are the spiciest of them all, you can put a frag in here. Nonetheless, having some sort of flash, smoke, something like that could always be useful. You never know when your mom's going to tell you to stop playing with all your friends and it's time to come inside. You got to get away. You pop smoke. Boom, you guys are gone in your Subaru. Coming over here to the left, if you've been following me on Instagram for any point of time, you know that I have moved away from Baofeng's and moved over to digitally encrypted comms, specifically the Motorola XTS 5000. This pouch is from ESSTAC. Not sure how well we can see this. Whoa. This pouch is from ESSTAC. It is specifically cut for the Motorola XTS 5000. I very much like it. I have just a push-to-talk that goes with my Peltor contacts on here. I just run the extra cord through one of the little bungee attachments on the side of this plate carrier, just to kind of help police that. Which brings me to another point that I think all modern plate carriers should have various bungee straps and these little Velcro retention straps, all that kind of stuff all around the edge, because it really helps police random wires and pieces of kits that otherwise can be kind of hard to contain. So for those of you who make plate carriers, please add this to the side of your plate carrier. HRT Tactical, good on you for having it on both sides of your plate carrier, top to bottom. And last but not least, on the front of the plate carrier is my hydration panel, the tube to my hydration panel. This is a Camelback. I always stand by Camelback. I'm a big person that thinks you should have water on you at all times. Obviously for cold weather, winter operations, a Camelback may not be suitable for you depending on your temperatures. But nonetheless, for the other majority of the year, here in Kentucky, I only get a few really consistent below freezing temperatures throughout the year. So a Camelback is huge for me. I like taking water everywhere I go, regardless if I have my pack or not. And canteens are kind of bulky to keep on plate carriers and whatnot. There's some people that like to do it. I personally do not. Coming down to the bottom of the plate carrier, just on a carabiner, again on one of those little bungee straps, I have my Pigs shooting gloves. you've known me for a while, you know I like pigs. And then we have the Swift Dangler IFAK. Once again, buckles. Boom. It's off. We have a tourniquet on bottom. And then we have all of our contents neatly divided inside with the insert. Now, if you're not a person that likes to break down your IFAK, maybe you're a person that likes it to be, what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. Boom, kept in the plastic. This is gonna be really embarrassing on YouTube. I forget the name of this. How am I a prepper? And I forget the name of what we do when we shrink wrap this plastic.
A few moments later.
Vacuum seal. There it is. Vacuum seal your IFAKs. You know, our Trauma IFAK has, you know, little tearaways already built into it. So you can just, boom, tear it, open it up. Now you have all your contents. So you do not necessarily need the insert. You can buy the pouch slick, and then you just put this bad guy in there, boom, zip it up, you're good to go. Nonetheless, the buckle system on this is extremely convenient. Like I said earlier, I really like having the ability to readily access my medical equipment. And outside of just your classic Trauma IFAK contents, guys, you should have a little bit of boo-boo stuff. You know, I like to keep, you know, a single like 3-inch or 4-inch rolled gauze, a couple 4x4s, some triple antibiotic equipment, stuff like that in my IFAKs. Just a small amount of boo-boo stuff, because not everything is going to require a tourniquet or a pressure bandage or, you know, anything like that. Moving along to the back of the plate carrier. Another tourniquet over here on the side in North American Rescue Cat Tourniquet Pouch. Dear North American Rescue, please make your tourniquet pouches just a little bigger from everybody. Anyway, we have the back panel from HRT Tactical on here again. It has 3 main compartments, really. The interior, which holds the bladder, and there are various little Velcro pieces in there to hold your hydration bladder of choice in place. And then you have 2 bigger general purpose pouches on top and on bottom. On top here, I have, you know, another Cliff Bar. I have some mapping pens, a couple of various fire starters. I have a mapping tool. I'm a big guy that likes to think you should have land nav on you at all times. You know, 550 cord, a couple of various carabiners, and I'd probably also, in, you know, normal terms, throw an extra lighter or something like that in there. One thing I did not mention is a compass. That would probably go in my front general purpose pouch, as well as maps. I'm not going to show you guys my maps. But if you need maps, we have a YouTube video on making maps using CalTopo. So head over to that. You know, there is a free version where you can print unlimited maps from home. So definitely look it out, because maps are important. And then in this bottom pouch, I have the H harness for my front placard. Like I said before, I like to keep the harness on me in case I ever want to ditch the heavier plate carrier and rock just the chest rig, or in this case, just the placard. Regardless of what plate carrier I'm running, if it has a detachable placard or a chest rig, I like to keep the harness with me. And that about wraps that up, guys. Of course, Minuteman flag on the patch. Another thing I like to keep on here is a handcuff key. You know, I'm not in a profession anymore where, you know, I carry handcuffs on a daily basis. I am a fireman, not a policeman. But when I did MC security, we carried handcuffs. So I always had handcuff key on me. I like to mark my medical. You know, I don't necessarily like marking it with big red patches all the time, unless it's like a bag of some sort. But as far as just an IFAK, something like med or a black cross, this is IR. So even at night, me and everybody else that I normally run with that has night vision, we can see, boom, medical, even though, you know, they know that I like running the Dangler IFAK like a lot of us do. Regardless of why you build out a plate carrier, guys, do so with quality materials. Don't, you know, cheap out on everything. There are a few things that you can get away with cheaping out on, like a general purpose pouch, or maybe like a smoke grenade pouch or something like that. But there are some things that you need to invest and buy quality gear of, and that is like the plate carrier itself, your plates, your rifle and pistol magazine pouches. Magazine pouches are a big one. I think a lot of us went through at some point in time in our gear journey, is buying quality pistol and rifle magazine pouches. And my own personal preference, I like to have a little bit of general administrative and sustainment supplies on me at any given point in time, regardless of what my kit is built out for. I could be carrying 7 to 10 magazines or 3 to 5 magazines. I still always want a little bit of chow, some note-taking gear, my land nav, and some water. But regardless of why you guys do this, make sure that you train. Make sure you put this on, get a workout in, dry fire, figure out, does this fit me the way it needs to? Do I need to adjust something? Is a pouch in the wrong way? One thing I'll probably eventually do with this plate carrier is reroute my antenna, because with the quick release cummerbund, my radio has shifted outwards a little bit, and it's a little bit less desirable where the antenna is now. So there's little things, and this is all a part of the journey. But nonetheless, make sure you train in your gear, no matter what a bro vet may say to you on social media. Guys, you can find the link to all of this gear down below, at least the majority of it, the main big pieces. Get out, train, do the things, guys. Times are getting harder, but when we do it together, everything will be a little bit better in the end. As always, guys, train hard, train often.